Hey YouTube, welcome back to another video. So what we have here is my iPhone 6s. This is the iPhone 6s from that iPhone lot. And I kept it as a backup phone because the Charge IC doesn't work. It only charges with USB-C cables. And it doesn't sync with the computer. Although I actually was able to get it to sync with the computer with certain really cheap aftermarket cables. So this means if I use the right cables to charge and sync, I can actually use this phone just fine as a backup phone, but obviously it loses too much value having this issue to sell it, not to mention that it could get worse over time. But it does have water damage in the screen and one of the back cameras. So I have this iCloud locked phone I've had laying around and I'm just going to do a quick swap. You can see that there is a chip on this replacement screen, but other than that, it is really good. So the first thing I did here was of course power the phone off, and then I could remove the two bottom pentalobe screws. I have opened this phone before, which you're about to see. There is tape over some of the EMI shields, and that is because I took all of them off to clean off the corrosion, and embarrassingly I have no idea how to really reconnect those right now. So I just taped them into place. I also had to, I didn't mention this, the baseband I think was not working. Like when I was testing out this phone, when you put a SIM card in, it wouldn't do anything. So since I had the shields off, I heated up the baseband a little bit and it came back to life. And that was a month ago or so, and it's still working. So obviously reflowing a baseband, reflowing is like just when you take a heat gun and apply heat to it. That's not permanent, and this will have issues with the baseband sometime in the future, but for now it works, and it is only my backup phone, so if it isn't the most reliable, that's okay. And I don't know if some of you remember this from the iPhone lot video. You might remember that the Touch ID was bad. Well, it's actually not bad. It was just the shield on the screen. Basically, it connects to this connector, which then connects to the logic board. And I guess there was corrosion on that because I replaced that like middle cable, and Touch ID works just fine now, which is great since you of course can't replace the home button without losing Touch ID function. So yeah, that's all good to go. Moving over to the iCloud locked iPhone 6s, I'm just going to take the display off of this and then we can transfer the home button over to the new screen. What I am doing here is I am transferring the home button over to the new screen. I'm removing this shield and then just transferring the button. I'd usually replace the adhesive on the button. You should always do that because you know they can be dirty, and if it doesn't stick, the button could twist and tear, and that would not be good. But since this phone is just for me and it still seemed to stick, I just decided to not transfer the adhesive. So here I'm transferring over the front speaker and front camera assembly from the old phone, and you really shouldn't do this on a water damaged device. Like, there is corrosion on this part, but again, since this is for my own personal use, I'd rather keep the other part that isn't corroded for another device that I actually plan on selling. Plus, I like to keep everything as original as possible, and again, you should replace a part like this that is corroded, but I just wanted to keep it original since it's for my personal use. So yeah, that's why I'm doing that, but totally not something you should do. I just kind of did it for fun. So now that the screen is ready, what I'm doing here is I'm just cleaning off all of the leftover adhesive with both pry tools, like this, not pry tool, like this spudger, just kind of getting off the adhesive, and then using isopropyl alcohol and a Q-tip just to break up the residue. And then once I'm done cleaning up the screen, I move on and repeat the same process on the housing where the screen sits, because obviously the 6S isn't water resistant, or it's not advertised as water resistant, but it does have very slight water resistance, which could potentially help. And especially, if you do have one of the newer phones that is advertised as water resistance, you want to keep it as good as possible. And any little leftover adhesive is going to totally mess that up, so it's extremely important to make sure that it is fully clean before you put everything back together. Now I'm just going to transfer the camera because, like I was saying, there were spots in the old camera. So I'm just transferring the camera from the iCloud locked phone to the good one here, and then I can put the screen adhesive on and seal the phone up. So as you can see, we are just about done. We just have a few more screws to put in to seal up the shields here, and then we just have to close the screen and we're done. To ensure that the adhesive would stick as best it could, I got some clamps here, as you can see, and I heated up the adhesive to kind of like reactivate it, and then clamped the sides so it would stick the best it could. This isn't completely necessary, but it definitely helps to seal it up a little better, so I like to do it if I have the time to. So now that we have let it sit for a while with the clamps, I can remove the clamps and then clean it off a little bit and make sure everything's working. As you can see here, I'm doing some basic testing and everything seems to be working just fine. So here it is. This is my iPhone 6S. It's in pretty good condition. There's no obvious drop marks or anything. And it does run iOS 15. I have iOS 15 beta on here, and to my surprise, it runs just as well as iOS 14, if not better. If you want to see a video about iOS 15 on the iPhone 6S, I might make a video, so keep an eye out for that. Anyways, yeah, this is my iPhone 6S. It's a great backup phone still. So yeah, that's just about all. If you liked this video, let me know. If you didn't, also let me know. Feel free to subscribe if you'd like to. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I will see you in my next one.